Okay, so my name is Julien Royer. I'm a chef and co-owner of restaurant Odette here in Singapore. The name of the restaurant Odette is named after the name of my grandmother from my mom's side. It's a little tribute to her. It's a big tribute to her. You know, she's the person who really showed me how much emotion and pleasure you can give to people through food and cuisine. And she was the person who fed us so well when we were a little kid with my sister. And, you know, I'm coming from a very humble background. You know, my family didn't have much money, but we always eat very well because I'm coming from a part of France. It's the region called Auvergne. It's a very quiet part of France. I'm coming from a place called Cantal, small and quiet place, but very rich with agriculture and history. I always say, you know, I was very lucky and fortunate to grow up in an environment when you can eat so well, some amazing ingredients. But when you're a kid, you don't necessarily realize because it's just the way we lived. My parents have a little farm. We always have animals. We always have a huge garden. We always eat with season. And, you know, you realize when you grow older and you travel the world, how lucky you are to have tasted this as a kid. And I believe the taste education you receive is something really important. And especially for someone who is working in a food or in a wine industry, it's something that is your DNA. And I do believe that as a cook, as a chef, you have to adapt yourself to the environment where you are. I don't think you can cook the same cuisine exactly in Paris, Barcelona, Tokyo, or Singapore. You need to infuse yourself to the place where you are. You need to understand the people, the culture, the habits of eating, the ingredients, to make sure that there is a cohesion between the cuisine and the culture and the place. And the sense of place is something I think extremely important. We did like a takeaway kind of menu called Odette at Home that was launched in order to first to save the 36 people that working here full time. It's a small restaurant, but big team. So we have to make sure that we are financially sustainable. So we had to do something. So we decided to launch Odette at Home, which was, thanks God, very successful. And we had a lot of support from our regular guests and from friends from the industry. And we did something that was, you know, beautifully packaged with not the same style of cooking, but with the same thinking behind. Great product, great taste, but more generously, more, I would say, home feel. And it was very successful. I've noticed, especially lately, since we reopened after the lockdown and the very long 11 or 12 weeks of closing the restaurant that we had, people are interested more on, I would say, number one, ingredients. Where is your ingredients from? And number two, cooking technique. Because people start to learn how to cook at their home. And probably this period of our life is where people cook the most home ever. So that's fantastic. Food is science. Produce is science, and we use the term. Many people use the term molecular gastronomy for many years in a very bizarre way, you know. But it is what it is. Biology. It is science. It is molecule. So you need to understand a bit the process if you want to learn, and if you want to extract the best taste from each and every single ingredients. You need to understand the way how this product is built, basically the chemical process behind it. For example, the beetroot collection, we're doing the beetroot variation. It's a dish that is actually, I mean, when I think about it, it's a very humble ingredients, beetroot. And it's a dish that we have been working a lot on by technique and different techniques and different method of cooking. You know, it's only interesting for me if the final result is the purity of the taste. And that dish, I think, I won't say is a perfect balance, but it's a beautiful balance between the original taste, you have, it's like a piece of jazz, you know, it goes high and then slowly it goes down and it's become rounder and smoother. And then you have the acidity, and then you have the cheese that bring you the fat and the comfort zone to the dish. And then you have the honey that bring you the sweetness. So it's a very nice piece of music that that goes into around the beetroot actually. I try to layers the flavors in a dish or in a sauce. Yes. And for example, here sourness is something that is difficult for people to accept. And personally, I love sourness into the cooking. So it was an interesting discussion with my team. You know, when thing that they find sour, I don't find sour. I think there is a confusion of people that I think sometimes mix sourness and acidity, and that is something different. So you know what we do here? I have a wonderful team of people working around me, and I have 3 very close collaborators that have been with me for almost 10 years. So one of them is from here, from Singapore, and 2 of them are from Malaysia. And they are my, you know, my garde rapprochée. They are my more than my team. They have become family-like, and we taste always together, because my taste is different than your taste and is different than their taste. And what we try to achieve is the balance between what I like very sour, what they like not sour. If we find a comfort zone in the middle, this is where everybody is happy. I mean, I noticed that people in Asia in general, they love the contrast of texture. And sometimes they love this kind of chewiness, or something that is very glutinous, or something that is very sticky. That, for example, in France, I know some people won't like it. But here, the texture is very important. So we play a lot, for example, by reducing the reduction of sauces. You know, you need to have this kind of natural glue, and they love it. Texture for the beetroot itself, for example, we play with different textures. So you have the cooked beetroot that is just basically salt baked beetroot. So very classic method of cooking. And then you have, for example, we do a little meringue that is made with beetroot juice that is dehydrated. So coming to the technique is really about dehydration of an ingredient to make something crispy but almost melting in your mouth in the same time. We work with the temperature also by doing like a sorbet based of the beetroot juice and using all the beetroot trimming, because we don't want to waste anything when you cut the beetroot nicely. We do with the trimming a reduction of wine and beetroot that remind me also a little bit like a vin chaud or mulled wine, but with the flavor of the beetroot. So you play with a lot of different techniques, but I always believe, and I used to work with a chef called Michel Brasse, and he was telling us always, alors c'était quoi il disait, I'll say in French first, il disait, la technique doit être au service du produit et non l'inverse. So that means the techniques, whatever the technique is here to help the produce to shine, and not and the produce is not the guinea pig of the techniques somehow, you know. It does require a lot of skill and knowledge, and it does require somehow some real training. And as I said, even myself, I still keep learning every day, you know. It's that's the beauty of this job, and that's why we love it so much. The notion of sustainability is very tricky. I'm going to explain. Because we are, okay, in Singapore, we are a small country, okay, with very limited agriculture space and land. And therefore, you have to import, and I believe the official figure is I think 90% of what is consumed here is imported from elsewhere. You know, life brought me here by the hazard or by luck or by chance, by traveling, by meeting people. And at first you feel very guilty by, you know, importing. But you know, when you think about it, we don't have much product. We have to import a lot, but you have access to anything and everything. Now, I work only with people that are farming or that are fishing with the notion of preservation of resources and with the notion of sustainability in their mind. We try always to go and meet the people that we want to work with. For instance, for example, for fish and seafood, we are working mainly with Japanese fish and seafood, okay? And also a little bit sometimes from Europe, but mainly with Japanese ingredients. So we work with Fukuoka, we work with Kyushu, we work with Hokkaido, and we go there and we try to build relationship with those people. You want them to understand that their product is in your restaurant because you want their product because it's beautiful and you want to respect them and to make them shine. And I think nowadays, you know, the spotlight sometimes is maybe a bit too much on the chef and not on the farmer and not on the supplier, on the fisherman. And I think that will be probably, I hope that is something that's going to happen now. Take the example, for example, of something that was not in our kitchen, let's say only 15 years ago, or was just the beginning. The circulator or the thermoplunger, we allow you to cook for very precise temperature for very precise timing. This, honestly, I think now every chef, every kitchen have it because it's so convenient, you know. Exactly. You can do many try. You can cook vegetable, you can cook meat, and you know that you know it's gonna be always very precise, very square, and the result will be the same. So personally, I think this was a big revolution. This is something I use mainly for me. I use mainly for vegetable and eggs. Eggs, we do a lot of eggs inside it. Not so much on meat because meat, I like to cook on the bone. I like the rôti, you know, le rôtissoir. La classic roast meat for me, it's still unbeatable. But again, it demands a lot of knowledge, practice, and labor. But I think the circulator and the thermoplunger or whatever you call, it's something that has helped us a lot in the kitchen and that help us to save time. People lack a lot the flavor. You know, they talk a lot about umami and they talk a lot about char grill and the grilling and the smoking. This is flavor that are really popular here. I mean, everywhere, but especially here, I think in this part of the world. So I would love to have, for example, a tool that allow me to do the perfect barbecue. You know, now we're using a small Japanese barbecue with binshotan, and it's great. It's great, but it's very time consuming, and you need someone constantly at the barbecue. Exactly. So if one day somebody like Sony is able to come out with a thing that makes you the perfect barbecue, but that will be, I think, the number one tool in all Michelin-starred kitchen all the world. The young chef tends to do too much in a way that they want to impress always. Yeah. But we need to remind ourselves what is the most impressive. It's actually the pleasure of eating and the taste. And this is the focus that we should not lose. And after what happened, you know, I strongly believe that the trend or the advice or the mojo that we must follow all is eat less, but eat better. It's quality over quantity. I think it's interesting if Sony work closely with some chefs and try together, because I think we need progress. You know, I'm not someone, I'm someone who believes that sometimes the old techniques are the best, and this is true, and they are here for generation. But I'm someone who also wants progress and need progress. And if we manage to do these techniques, okay, and achieving the same result by the help of technology and human intelligence, then it's perfect. It will make our job so easy.